Call this meeting to order. Piqua City Commission meeting Tuesday, August 20th, 2024. Let's begin by saying the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Unbelievable.
Play ball.
Bam. Sorry.
They've been trying to reach you about your car's extended warranty.
Yeah. Sorry. Will the clerk call the roll?
Commissioner Vetter,
Here.
Commissioner Simmons,
Present.
Mayor Lee,
Here.
Commissioner Homan,
Here.
Commissioner DeBras.
Here.
I'll ask the commission to excuse me. At about 7:15, I've got a job that I've got to go to at Edison. I teach at the police academy. I have a 7:30 class that I've got to attend, so.
Love that movie.
Yeah. So if the commissioners would be so kind to excuse
Mayor,
me.
I motion that we excuse you at 7:15 and not a minute earlier.
I would second that.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. All right, now we'll begin with the consent agenda. Approval of the minutes.
Ooh,
Mayor Lee,
let's motion to
we-
approve the
Oh,
business
yeah,
agenda.
let's motion to approve the business agenda.
Mayor, I would motion that we approve the business agenda as written. Unless anybody has any amendments to shuffling items around.
Yes, we do. There is a need to bring forward, when we get to new business,
Actually,
Or actually, it's old business.
It's going to be under old business, so if it's not.
So
gonna
it's
be-
okay.
If the resolution's not going to take that long.
It won't.
We're golden.
we're golden, that's fine. Then it's okay as far as I'm
I
concerned.
move that we approve the business agenda.
Consent agenda?
Now, the business
The
agenda.
business agenda,
The consent
this.
agenda.
Second.
The business.
Yes. Moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And just so citizens know, we are not going into the complete full format of the new commission meeting rules. We will divide the meeting into a business section, and then there will be a separate section that includes non-agenda public comment, and there'll be a break in between. There's no need for cards at this point in time. It takes 10 days for the rules to go into effect, so we will divide it though as to such, so people can come up on each resolution or ordinance as always, and then they're available to come up without the cards, and the cards are in the back, to speak in public comment section, just so you know. So first up on our agenda is the consent agenda.
approval of the minutes from the August 14, 2024 Piqua City Special Commission meeting, and resolution number R10124, a resolution establishing trick-or-treat Beggars Night in the city of Piqua.
What is that date that it's set for?
The Miami County Board has set it for the last Thursday in October, which falls on October 31 this year.
All right, so just so everybody knows, October
date?
31st,
Yeah, six to eight, I think.
6 to 8. Thank you. So,
Got to start making candy.
making candy?
Oh, yeah, I make.
All right.
I make candy.
Motion that we approve the consent agenda.
I'll second that. All those in favor of approving the consent agenda, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Next is on to old business, and we'll start with ordinance number O-14-24. It's a second reading.
An ordinance to amend Title 15 Land Usage Piqua Development Code.
Good evening, Commissioners, Mayor, Kyle Hinkleman, Community Services Director. This ordinance 01424, is an ordinance to amend our development code. If you will recall, this is related to 4.7.5, signs not requiring a permit, D, flags. There are no changes from the previous meeting. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to address them.
Mr. Mayor,
Go right ahead.
I would like to make a motion that we skip the third reading of this and vote on this ordinance tonight.
Second.
Moved and seconded to suspend the three reading rule on this and approve it. All those, let's have a roll call on this.
Mayor Lee,
Aye.
Commissioner Homan,
Aye.
Commissioner Vetter,
No.
Commissioner DeBras,
Aye.
Commissioner Simmons.
Aye.
All right, we will suspend the three reading rule. Any questions or comments from commissioners about this?
I just wanted to thank Mr. Hinkleman for going through the code with me. I believe that my error last week in thinking that it was 7-4-7 was related to formatting errors when opening up a PDF on my phone. I appreciate you walking me through that, and I'm happy that we got the correct code number in there, so thank you.
Any questions or comments from citizens?
Hello, Kim Heisler, 1802 West Parkway. I'm not exactly sure I understand, but I do want to make sure that, because it sounded like for businesses, they could only have two so-called flags or something. Three, okay. So does that affect like Army, Navy, Air Force, and Marine?
Ask.
Or are you only allowed?
We don't regulate content, so you get 3 commercial flags as part of a commercial lot. What you decide to put on them is completely up to you. We do not regulate content, so it doesn't
So,
matter what's on that flag. We don't
Army,
regulate it.
Navy, Air Force, and one of them would be left out, is what you're saying? For
Again, I mean, you're naming branches of our military, but those are
Right.
not, I mean, if somebody were to want flags, yes, they would be allowed to pick 3, correct?
Okay.
For business.
I understand. Well,
Correct.
is business the same as government? Or is that different?
I don't think the recruiting office would fall under a business, though.
Okay,
That's
well, I'm
federal
just I mean, it
I don't
really
think so
doesn't-
either.
Yeah.
I'm just
No.
looking out for,
Correct.
those guys, so, whatever,
Your,
seem like it's,
I'll let you finish.
no, I'm done.
Your particular scenario, I believe, was brought up when reviewing this, and that's something that we thought was important, an important scenario for a personal residence. It might be slightly less important for a business residence. If it comes up, it's something that we can talk about. As we found this flag rule was because it was about to be enforced on somebody, and we realized,
Private
a lot of us are new commissioners from when this was passed last year, and we realized, hey, maybe we wouldn't have passed, maybe the new commission wouldn't have necessarily passed it as is. Commissioner DeBras and I have requested a pretty thorough review of Code Piqua and see if there's anything else hiding in there that might be a problem in the future. So if that's something that you're interested in and want to read through it and give us some suggestions.
I was just looking out for our veterans, we're here because of them, so.
Jim Sheets, 729 South Downey Street. Commissioner Vetter, I'd just like to hear your opinion why you voted no on this, if you can please
Yeah, I don't think
elaborate.
it's an emergency.
Huh?
I didn't think it was an emergency.
Okay. I mean, was you
Three
going
reading- Three reading rule generally is waived for emergency situations, and we have some debate about whether it's an emergency or not. My opinion is it not.
Yeah, but I mean, it's obvious. I mean, is you something against with the flags or something, or is you just don't think it's an emergency?
It's totally about waiving the three reading rule.
Okay, I was just curious why you did it. I'd just like to hear the public to hear your opinion on that.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other comments from citizens? I will accept the
Mayor,
motion.
I move that we adopt resolution R-10, or ordinance O-1424.
I'll second that.
Moved and seconded. I need a roll call.
Mayor Lee,
Aye.
Commissioner Homan,
Aye.
Commissioner Vetter,
Aye.
Commissioner DeBras,
Aye.
Commissioner Simmons.
Aye.
Okay. Now on to new business. Resolution number R-102-24.
A resolution awarding a contract to Skylift Incorporated for purchase of a mini derrick for the power system.
Thank you, City Commission. Ed Krager, Power System Director, City of Piqua. Come to you tonight requesting the purchase of a 2024 Skylift mini derrick to replace a 15-year-old 2009 unit. We also call this piece of equipment a backyard machine because what it's utilized for is to do electric line maintenance, replace poles, transformers, rebuild lines in areas that are very difficult to access. You know, if you have a backyard, it's got a chain link fence around it, it's got a 36-inch gate. You know, it's very cost prohibitive to remove the gate or the fence, the gate, and you face damages to customers' property, and it's also an alternative would be to do it how they used to years and years ago, using hot boards off of poles, and that's a very slow process, not very efficient, and it faces a lot of safety issues as well. So we've been using this 2009 unit for the last 15 years. We're very satisfied with it. Skylift is the market leader in terms of this piece of specialized equipment. The new unit we're proposing that we purchase offers a greater lifting capacity, and it's got many enhanced features over the 2009 unit. This purchase was unanimously recommended for City Commission approval at the June 25th Piqua Energy Board meeting. I'd be happy to take any questions.
What are we doing with the old one?
So what we typically do with vehicles when they're replaced, we either try to secure trade-in value, and if, depending on what that trade-in value, if they're interested in providing a trade-in, if that exceeds what we think we could get on the resale market through Gov Deals, we'll go that route. So one or the other, either a trade-in or place the piece of equipment on sale through Gov Deals.
What do you think we'll get out of it?
Well, I'm hoping, you know, in the commission report, I think I estimated maybe $25,000. The unit was purchased new in '09 for about $135,000, so we've seen an escalation of price in 15 years of about $100,000, so.
So what do they see, or what do you see as the life expectancy of this new equipment?
Well, again, we do a good job maintaining our equipment. We've got pretty rigorous maintenance processes. When I started here back in '98, we were lucky to get 10 years out of a piece of equipment. They weren't really doing routine maintenance at the time. Now we have every 6 months, we work with companies that either come on site or we take our vehicles off site. And so, you know, we stretch 10 years into 15 years in a lot of cases. So, you know, I don't come to commission before, like I said, 15 years is probably about typical for most of our equipment, which I think is pretty good.
I've been going to the Energy Board meetings since the beginning of the year, and it's very clear to me that Piqua's got one of the most stable grids in the region, probably the most stable grid in the region, one of the most stable ones nationwide. You guys have done an incredible job, your team, of keeping really high uptime, really quick response rates when there are outages, and that's just absolutely invaluable to the industry in the area and making sure that we are able to support those local jobs in this community, not to mention just the convenience and comfort factor for the citizens in their home. I can fully say that whatever we get for you, whatever equipment that you're requesting, it's clear that you're making great use of it, and it's a good use of taxpayer dollars, and people are getting their money's worth out of that. I have absolutely no problem approving this. I saw the videos when you showed us at the last Energy Board meeting. It's clear that this is a piece of equipment. It lets you do a lot more things in a much tighter form factor with its footprint. It's a little bit cheaper and easier to move around. You don't need to pull out the big trucks just to go up and get something little. You can get into tighter spaces and serve the community even better than what you're currently doing. And I would just encourage all of my fellow commissioners to vote yes on this, and just to let the citizens know that this is absolutely going to be a vital piece of equipment for the Energy Department, and they're going to make good use of it.
You always do a good job of researching, taking care of the equipment, and then bringing it to us clearly. So we appreciate what you do and how well you take care of it.
The payment of the purchase will come from the Electric Utilities Fund, so it's not from the general fund,
Yeah.
which is good news for citizens.
Right. Yeah, our electric ratepayers will bear the cost of this. And again, we have an equipment replacement program that, we try to spread costs over a period of time so we don't have big cyclical up and downs in that. And, I really appreciate all the positive comments. Our employees are very serious about what they do, and I think the results have kind of shown over time. But it is important that we provide our employees the resources they need to do the job right, and I appreciate that. I appreciate your support.
Any comments from citizens about this item? Not, I'll entertain a motion.
I'd move the approval of Resolution R-102-24.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next on the agenda is resolution number R-103-24.
A resolution authorizing the lease extension of Ash Street Water Tower space to New Singular Wireless, PCS LLC.
Good evening, Commissioners. Kevin Craney, Utilities Director. This lease extension is in regards to the roof of our Ash Street Tower, which is the one on the east side of town across the street from Walmart. We are in the 19th year of currently leasing this. It comes up next November for a renew. Our legal counsel was addressed by New Singular Wireless, who is in charge of the tower now, to start renegotiating this extension. So that is what you have before you. Very little has changed. One place I would like to point out is number 5. We did not have the language of when they upgrade their equipment, take off equipment. So now number 5, improvements, really spells out how they have to come to us and let us know what they're doing, what they're changing out, what they're cutting off our tank, how they're making the connections, anything that can affect the integrity of our water tanks, and that's really what we desired. So that, and then keeping the same cost with a 3% inflation increase each year going forward. And the first section will be from 25 to 30, and then every 5 years after that, we can renew, and either side can get out, I believe, with a 60-day notice. So that is what you have before you, and I would take any comments.
Any questions from commissioners?
Once again, I appreciate that you guys provide a spot on that tower up there for the 147.21 repeater, which is very key to emergency communications response from amateur radio people who work with races in areas in the county. So that's appreciated.
How did we come up with a dollar figure that we're charging them rent for this?
So this is just an extension of the initial fee that was negotiated 20 years ago, and it's been going up 3% every year for the last 19 years. So we're going to keep the current fee and just keep it going up 3% each year going forward for the extension of the lease.
And next year it gets renegotiated, right?
Well, if you agree to this tonight, then the new 5-year lease starts on 11/14/25. That'll go for 5 years, and then in 2030, another 5 years. So we have an out every 5 years going forward, but we've gone the last 19 with no issues. And as long as they tell us what they're doing on the tank and don't cause problems to our tank, it's been a good arrangement.
Are you aware of any other interest from other wireless providers?
Yeah, so if you extrapolate this out, this is worth maybe $700,000 over that period. We've had people come and try to buy the rights to the tower for the next 20, 30 years, but they want to give you like $200,000 or $300,000. So they're trying to find cities that are desperate, I think, to get a one-time cash out, but it's really the play is to get that guaranteed income every year.
Those are our best bet for now.
Definitely, yeah.
Long view is always the best.
Any comments from citizens?
Kim Heisler, 1802 West Parkway. You can count on me to have questions. I do have a question, and I know Paul had mentioned there's a particular type of equipment, but what kind of equipment are they actually putting on there?
It's for the cell phone in the area, the cell phone receivers,
Right, is that like 5G technology or?
I think that's probably already what's up there, yeah. And then anything over the last 14 years, or last 18, 19 years, anytime they've upgraded their equipment, they're changing it out up there.
Okay, and you had mentioned that you're really taking a look and seeing what effect it has on the water tanks to make sure it doesn't affect that. But have you guys actually taken a look at any of the equipment and what it does actually to the water itself?
No, we have not.
That might be something you might want to take a look at, because just because we're getting the money out of it, and it's not harming the tank, we want to make sure that's indeed the truth with looking at, if it does affect the water.
Yeah.
Looking at the old water plant site, because of money and stuff, we brought folks in, took a 20-year contract, and we didn't ask enough questions at the beginning to find out what was really happening. So I'm just saying, we might want to do some homework.
I'm not aware of any problems with the,
Right. And there may not be.
because
There may
there's,
not be.
hundreds of thousands of these tanks across the country with the equipment on top of them, so.
I understand.
I've never heard of anything related to that. I do know when you're working around that equipment, there is some issues if you're up there physically, a person up there, there can be some frequency issues, but I've never heard of anything with the water.
I just want to say, do your homework. Thank you.
Is there a contingency you could put in there? That if there's a issue with the water as a result of it, the contract's null and void?
I don't know, Frank, if there's language in there that would take that into consideration if they're harming citizens?
Not, but my guess is the federal government would require it to stop immediately.
It's my understanding that the FCC would be regulating the wireless signals being transmitted and the
Oh, they
devices
do.
which
They
transmit
did.
them and receive them. I don't know that we would have the expertise or even the resources in-house to investigate the effects of 5G radiation on drinking water. I believe that's something that the federal government has taken a look at, and my guess is that they have deemed it safe and a non-issue, or these sorts of products wouldn't be allowed out. Actually, my fellow commissioner, Mr. Simmons, might know a lot more about the FCC regulations than I do, and he might know a lot about those.
Just a chapter on ham radio. But, I mean, think about this. I've been using, I don't know about you guys, I've been using a cell phone now for about 30 years. And, yeah, I mean, hold it up to here. And I sometimes use Bluetooth, sometimes use speakerphone. But, yeah, I mean, I've had it right up here. And also when you're looking at stuff and you're old like me, and you've got the glasses, you got to look this close. I mean, that radiation is all right there, but it's not that bad. There's one thing I've learned from working with amateur radio. There is such a thing as harmful radiation. It's like with ham radio, depending on what frequencies you use. If you're on HF, stay away from the antenna. If you're working VHF, UHF, it's not as big a deal.
So that
Other note-
radiation is the reason why you're you?
Yeah,
Okay.
All right.
it may
I
be
don't know then.
special.
We like you the way you are. I do.
One other quick note while we're talking about tanks, over the last 3 weeks, the Western tank, the R.M. Davis tank has got its fresh coat of paint. So if you drive by that, you should see a noticeable difference.
Nice.
It really looks cool first thing in the morning when the lights are hitting it, it's starting to glow, get a little sun out, it looks pretty good. So,
Mayor, are we into the,
Well, I want, any other citizens' comments?
Motion.
Mayor, I move that we adopt resolution R-103-24.
I'll second that.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I'm going to say no, because I think we should look at the, but it passed, but I think we should look at the effects, and we can probably do that. We'll just have someone do some research. I'll ask someone to do some research, see if it has any effects.
Do you, Kevin, do you guys do any kind of testing like in the system at all, just in general for like quality testing or anything? Like stuff.
Quality testing?
Just any kind of water testing that might happen after it
That
leaves a.
wouldn't show any radiation. or
No, we don't do,
anything. Yeah.
oh, they'll, I don't know, there are tests, radiological tests, but that's usually at the entry point, not in the tanks of water. I know radiological is one of the monitoring
Yeah.
things you check for, but that's what's coming out of the plant, where they
Well-
sample that at the entry point.
I guess my point was that those cell emitters have been up there for 20 years. 5G's been around for probably 5 to 10 of those. And so
Nothing we're checking for now would show anything to do with that, any pollutants or anything from radiation from a cell phone tower. We'd have to do a lot of investigation even to know where to start on that.
That's fine. I appreciate, and it's not that I don't believe you, and I think it's a good deal, and I've been around radiation. I carry 2 cell phones myself, but I'd like to learn from past issues as well, so I understand where that's coming from. All right, next on the agenda is resolution number R-104-24.
A resolution authorizing a purchase order to Gray Bar for the purchase of the uninterrupted power supply system at the Fort Piqua Plaza.
Good evening, Commissioners. This resolution would allow us to replace a critical piece of infrastructure at the Fort Piqua Plaza. The UPS system is what would provide emergency lighting should there be a power failure at the building. This is a requirement of the fire code. The current system has reached the end of its useful life. It was put in 2008 when the building was remodeled for the opening of that facility. We would be looking to utilize a cooperative purchasing agreement to make this purchase from Gray Bar, and we would be utilizing Cary Electric Company to do the install. They're actually the contractor that was utilized during the reconstruction, so they're very familiar with the building and the facilities there. It would be about a 10 to 12 week lead time to get the equipment in, and then less than 3 weeks for the actual install.
Any questions from citizens or commissioners? It's required by the fire code.
Sure is.
And what's the current, what we plan on doing with the current one?
We would be looking at, it would probably be scrapped, but we would look for gov deals.
Somebody might want it, yeah.
And I guess only because it's required by the fire code, then, because we just said all those nice things about the electric department. I don't know that we'll ever need it, so.
You don't know. I haven't had my electricity go out this year, so I've been fortunate, so. Any questions from citizens? I'll entertain a motion.
I'd move the
Mayor.
approval of resolution R-104-24.
I will second that.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next on the agenda is the city manager's report, and he is not here.
Correct. The city manager has no report this evening.
Okay, thank you. We will do commissioners' comments then, and we will start with, how about we start with Commissioner Vetter?
Okay. Looking from my notes, here I go. I want to say a special thank you to Jerry O'Brien, our finance director. I have made several appointments to come in and review the financial paperwork for the city through the month of June as the first 6 months. I acknowledge that I am not an accountant, and government accounting is certainly
It's different.
it's different and takes some. We can make a
Good
list
idea.
of stakeholders and do that, and I think it's a public building. It's now 70+ years old, has some issues, and I understand that the asbestos issue that caused us to give back the money that we had originally obtained to improve the restrooms up there is still not abated. So we have an abatement issue, in my opinion, with that. So just a reminder that we've rescheduled our town hall meeting for September, and that's coming up. I'm also continue to be concerned about the fact that we have areas of town that seem to have concentrations of cats, and I know that the contract that we have with Montgomery County has needed to be expanded due to loss of a grant that they suffered, but we're still looking for someone to maybe be a second coordinator of activities, take some training, take some activities, but I think that would be a good process. I continue to listen to other cities in the area who are also talking about. Fairborn was one that came to mind for me, and so we can't ignore the problem. We need to continue to deal with it. I think we're headed in a good process, but needs more activity. I'm interested in down the road having what I would call a beautification Piqua project. And we're in the initial talking phases of that, but I think there is some interest from the community in that, and where it goes and how fast it goes and all the issues are still to be determined. But I think there is at least opinion on some that we need to start an activity to see if we can't beautify the city, and so more information to come about that. Very thankful to the police department for their coordination of the National Night Out Against Crime activity. I think several were able to attend most of the meetings, and I was able to attend too. And so it was a fun night. And I got a thank you note back from the Caldwell folks.
It was very nice.
Nice
yes.
big party. And I think we accomplished the purpose of doing that, and so it was a good night. So I appreciate all the work that took to coordinate all that. I yield.
All right, Commissioner Simmons.
Don't have a whole lot, just my wife is home watching the doggos, so like Greg Green used to say, once a week, honey, if you're watching, I'll be home right after the meeting.
Whenever that is.
Whenever that is.
You've never seen that show?
I have.
Huh? You haven't?
No, I have.
Oh, you have? All right, there you go. Nope, that's all I got.
All righty, thank you. Commissioner DeBras.
I want to start off by thanking our utilities director for letting me know the reason behind the low water levels currently in France, Echo, and Swift Run. And that is because we are currently drawing water from Swift Run for our drinking water. So always helpful to know what's happening up there, so I appreciate that. Our little run-in in the hallway before the meeting. And then the second thing, I want to thank Chief Byron for letting myself and my daughters, Commissioner Homan, tag along with some of the guys for the National Night Out.
Tell them what vehicle you were in.
Appreciate your hospitality.
They got a nice ride in a vehicle.
And
back of it.
But
It wasn't.
And no handcuffs.
No handcuffs. Yes.
We were all good, but thank you for allowing us to tag along, and my girls as well, and to all the neighborhoods, especially the Piqua, Caldwell Historical District. You guys know how to throw quite a party down there, so thank you for having us, and to all of the folks who put on events, and apologies to Rob Alexander and the folks out in Indian Ridge. We were unable to make it to that one. As
We were almost there.
The skies opened up and it started storming when we were on our way. So apologize we didn't make that one. And I will yield back.
All right, Commissioner Homan.
I'd just like to inform my fellow Commissioner Vetter that I did my part with the cats. I did adopt one, and I'm still a great member of my household. I've not let her back out. I also wanted to thank Chief Byron for Night Out. I think everything I wanted to say was already taken, but, ditto and all that stuff. I appreciate your guys going out and taking out Commissioner DeBras and I and the MRAP. That was a good time. I also would like to thank Kevin, Craney, and your guys at the Water Department that gave me a tour a few weeks ago, showed me how all of the water is treated in the new treatment plant. Walked me through all the questions that I had and questions I've received from other citizens about how does our water become safe to drink, what all is done to it, what are the processes that we're using. And it's very clear that the guys there are, they take pride in their work. We're using the latest technologies, all the latest standards in purifying water, which is nice because we have one of the newest water plants in the state. And so Piqua gets to drink a lot better than a lot of our surrounding cities do, and they're going to have to come up with money to build a big, expensive plant in the next few years, and we're not going to have to do that because we already have one. And with that is all.
All right. My comments, I want to remind everybody that school, if it hasn't started, it will be starting. I know my kid goes to school tomorrow. Last of 7, he's going to Lehman. And he rides Piqua's buses because he's too lazy to drive. But I didn't say that. But the school will be back in, so please watch the kids out there. Drive the speed limits and watch them early in the morning as they're going to bus stops. And appreciate that. And even after school, obey the speed zones, the speed limit zones. I also would like to thank Jerry O'Brien. He came in, he always gives a detailed report, very thorough and very understanding. I have an MBA and I can read a budget, but government budgets are really difficult and he makes things simple. So thank you, Jerry. And the other department heads are awesome. They're doing a good job and we appreciate them as well. And National Night Out, I got to ride with the chief. It was very nice. Got to catch up. Worked with him for a long time. He's a good man. He's running a good department, and we had a good time. And all the parties that I got to go to, and Rob puts on a great party, and I'm sure it was good. I didn't get to see it, but the ones that I went to, all of them were great. And the Piqua Historical one, the food was just whew. Or the Piqua Caldwell District, the food was great. So I had a good time, and. I know we had some events. Didn't we have Down a River, Down a Beer just recently? All those who went out to that. And I know Saturday there was a Jeep car show, and some people I saw online were upset that the road was blocked off, but it was for a good cause. And a lot of people got wet because I had to go get my son from football, and it was just coming down. So, but. There's a lot of good things going on in Piqua. Please utilize Lock 9 Park because it is a park. But if you take your kids there, please watch them. It's not the police department. It's not the city's job to watch your kids. Please watch them. It's still a park and things could happen. So just be on that. And with that said, I need a motion to adjourn. And we're only going to adjourn for 5 minutes, and then we're going to come back for public comment.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. We're adjourned.